Hey, welcome guys. Today
Hey.
is a blistery, snowy slash icy day outside.
In the middle of
So,
January.
yeah,
In
perfect weather
yeah,
to
yeah.
record a video. Yeah, we are here to talk about one of our favorite TV shows, This Is Us. Talking through the latest episode called Lights and Shadows.
Yeah.
Just coming off the winter break.
Yeah, so we haven't seen an episode in 2 months. They took a freaking 2 month sabbatical between because, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. So they ended the last episode like with a horrible, horrible montage of
Yeah, it was
future
a trip.
events, and the whole episode was a trip, honestly. We got to the end of it and we're like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, they kind of gave us they've been showing these flash forwards, which have been kind of cool and all.
But we didn't know it was a flash forward.
Right, and they've been showing us these flash forwards and showing us what the end of the show is going to be like, and we know at the end of the show, spoilers. Rebecca, who's the old mom, she's gonna be dying, that kind of thing. So we're just kind of starting to walk that journey and kind of find out what's leading us to that point.
Yeah.
So,
Fast forward to this episode, they go into it a little bit more. They start chipping away at that story now. And so we start off catching up, I guess, from just all the things they left us hanging on.
Yeah.
And so halfway through, we were just like, okay, well, this is the main thing they started drilling into us the end of last episode, but there's going to be a horrible catch.
There always is.
There always is.
Let's see. We focused on Randall, Miguel, and Rebecca going to the doctors to kind of see what's going on memory wise to her, because she's starting to experience some memory loss. So Miguel is convinced it's simply old age, as I think anyone in his shoes would just assume. And Randall, as the very protective son who kind of knows the situation a little bit, is saying, no, it's not, we should definitely get this checked out.
Yeah,
so that's
we finally see this little bit of a snippy attitude between the two of them, which they've both wanted for years.
Right.
And we finally get into that almost full out argument in the hospital. That's where all of their arguments happen, it feels like. I mean, either that or in therapy.
Yeah.
The two best places, I guess.
Right. So there's that storyline. Then we have the Kate and Toby storyline, which
Painful.
We got thoughts about, right? That's actually how the episode starts, right? I think. Because we literally got 37 seconds into the episode and I paused it, and we'll talk about that a little bit, but I paused it and said something, and
you said, hey, you know what, I hope this is actually a problem, because they're making such a big deal out of it, like they always do, and then it turns out to be absolutely nothing, and we're just like, okay, man, what was that for?
Lo and behold, it ended up being nothing
yet again. So I feel like we still ended that episode and we're just kind of like,
yeah, we got stuff to talk about with that too. And then let's see, the last storyline they follow is also, it's about Kevin, who he wants to find love. He wants to find that storybook love. He hires a matchmaker, goes through some duds, and those are kind of funny, painful, cringeworthy to watch, and he's ready to give up.
Even he was cringeworthy.
Yeah,
he cringed in the show, which we saw that and we're like, okay, cool.
So he's given up on love, which obviously means he's going to find love.
She's going to walk in right at that moment.
Right, of course. We'll talk about Kevin's storyline with Sophia Bush.
I know Sophia Bush from One Tree Hill, so 15 years ago.
I don't know who she is.
He never heard of her, so he's looking her up, and I'm like, yeah, she was this person's best friend, and they did this and this, and then she walks in, and he's just like, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, she was a nice, fun personality. We've seen with Kevin, with his character, people have one of two reactions with him, especially if they're female. Either they're falling over, gushing over him because he's a big movie star, or they treat him like crap. So they so
which she started out trying to pretend like she didn't know who he was.
Right.
And then like, well, of course I know who you are.
Yeah.
Just messing with him. And at that moment we're just like, oh, okay, this could work.
Yeah, and it was like, there's something there.
But
this
there's
is
something
cool.
off.
They decide to go on a date, and Kevin goes,
oh man,
all
dream date
out.
right there. Like, if you did that for me.
Hopefully I would know you for more than 2 hours before I swept you off on this crazy dream date.
Yeah. So John Legend, if you want to do like a date for us, it'd
John
be
Legend,
great.
you're available. But they like, you see a piano up there, it's like, oh, here he comes. Ready to play some songs and all that stuff, and this storybook love. Because that's
that
Kevin's
they've known
thing.
each other for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, he loves the fact that his parents have this storybook love.
Yeah, and that's
what
Kevin's whole
he
thing.
just always hopes for and works towards, and he wants to be like his parents in that aspect. And so when he saw Sophia Bush walk in, he was like, oh man, this is her. This is like it for me, so I have to do everything perfect. And so from there we get swept off of our feet, just being like, oh my gosh, Kevin's such a romantic, which we already knew because of how he treated Sophie just for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
Wait, more than that.
I like how in the episode they kind of like show the opposite of that, because we've gotten kind of the beginnings of the like storybook nature of Jack and Rebecca's love. Like, they're like head over heels, they just met each other, and they like drive across country together kind of thing. Well, they get back and it's anything but a storybook love, and that's kind of where we're at now. Showing like in this episode, Jack tries to break up with Rebecca in the past.
Having it.
She doesn't have it. Even her mom, who is
the biggest jerk in the world.
Yeah, she's not someone you would want to take advice from ever.
I actually loved Rebecca's mom in this episode.
Probably
the
for
only
the first
one.
time.
I know, it's the only one that I've ever just been like, ooh, this lady does have feelings, for someone other than herself. When I heard like what she had to say about Jack, whoa, this is amazing. Like,
yeah, it was good.
There are people that are going to be poor. There are going to be people that are going to be rich. And it's not about that. It can hurt it. It can make it better. It can be on both ends of that too. Like, and she knows that. She wanted a beautiful, grand, rich life for herself, and she wanted that for her daughter. But she also knew, like, if I can't have that for my daughter, I want her to be happy. And for the first time, we saw that.
Yeah. So I really like how those two stories just kind of like mirrored each other in a way. Get kind of to the end of the date, and that's when the wheels just kind of fall off the track. Like, which was funny too, because like Kevin and what the heck is Sophia's?
Oh, Lizzie.
Lizzie. Like, they go in and it's like, all right, this is the time where you have like that first kiss. Like, this is gonna be the start of something great. And I even said it. Do you remember? They went in and they kissed, and I was like, well, it's kind of awkward. And then she pulls away and she drops the bomb that she's actually married. And like, Kevin is her hall pass, which
celebrity hall pass, which
dumb.
First of all, what the heck is that?
Dumb. So, like, how did you feel when they did that?
It was just kind of like one of those, oh, there's the other shoe. It just dropped.
So you kind of knew it was coming.
You kind of knew.
And
You knew
came,
something
and
was
like,
coming.
oh, great.
Especially like when she kept mentioning, oh, my mom wants a play-by-play. And I just kept thinking, yeah, she has a boyfriend. This isn't going to be great. It's going to cause problems. I did not see husband coming.
Last two women that Kevin has kissed have been married.
Yeah.
Way to go, Kevin. Like, Kevin ends on a good note, which is nice.
I mean, not really.
Yeah, but he's back to the point where he's like, I'm just giving up on love.
Yeah. Which at that point, he like hands his phone. He's like, dude, I'm just like done with chicks now, okay? So he hands his phone to an assistant, I think. And I'm like, oh, this would be a great time for Sophie to come back. Lo and behold, she like calls his phone, and you should have seen our reactions. Both of us were just like,
I was like,
what? It was like the Super Bowl had just happened in our house.
I mean, we don't know how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, hopefully.
Obviously, it's going to turn crazy. It's going to be a lot messier than we anticipate, but at least ended on a good note, which was nice. So that is Kevin's story. So let's talk about Kate and Toby now.
Their story is so intense.
I still like it.
I know, they have her baggage.
And they have Toby's baggage, which never gets talked about.
I know, I was going to say that.
That's
he has
fun.
his baggage, but she doesn't allow him to bring it up. Because hers
and
is
it
just
doesn't
so
get
much more
worked through.
important. Like, he's been divorced and has severe depression.
And we talked about depression a little bit beginning of last season.
Kind of slid over it.
Yeah.
We thought it was going to be a much bigger deal.
Their whole thing.
Maybe we're coming to it still.
Maybe. They're coming back from Thanksgiving with the Pearson family. Kate's all upset because Toby's been texting back and forth with his CrossFit friends, and there's one of the girls that's in his CrossFit group is named Lady Kryptonite, and she doesn't like that because she's, it definitely appears like she's poking her head in places that it doesn't need to be and offering advice that should not be given for an unmarried woman on a married guy's relationship. Which is fair. It's fair for Kate to definitely be upset about that.
Yeah, but then there's like Toby's aspect. He never should have aired that out to them.
Right.
Because like that's 7 other people that now know the nitty-gritty of his marriage without knowing Kate's side of it, because there are always 2 sides. So them having like 7 people in that group text.
The person that he's confiding this in is a snake. That makes it even worse. So, come to find out, like, obviously she has a name. Her name's Kara, or Kara, which is funny because they made a Supergirl joke when her name's Lady Kryptonite, which is
that's
funny.
why he called her Lady Kryptonite.
It's quite funny. So
I do think it's really weird that he calls her Lady Kryptonite.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have any feelings for her. To me, I saw her name the first time in the last episode, and I was just like, wait, what? Not really, okay.
She tries to get kind of on board. She also has ulterior motives. She plans a birthday party for Toby, invites all his CrossFit friends. They all show up. One of them, says, oh no, Toby hasn't been coming to the gym in like 2 weeks. Found a different gym. You kind of get this feeling she invited them all because she wanted to meet this Lady Kryptonite.
I mean, she kind of like drops that.
Yeah, she doesn't show up.
And then Toby comes in and his eyes just tell the whole story.
I know. It's like these two know they have the worst communication problems in the world.
And they don't care to change it.
So they talk about it a little bit. Again, I mean, they talk about, what happened, why Toby switched gyms, which is because this girl, Kara, tried to kiss him, so he decided to get out of that and go to a different gym, and it's just talk about things. That's the lesson from those two. Yeah. And then they start talking about Baby Jack and kind of how Toby's been feeling with that, which...
Pulling back from them?
Yeah. Which is not good. It's not good for him to pull back from that at all. But also, Kate's reaction to that is just like, she makes it that they can't talk through it. Because it's like, oh my gosh, why would you say something so horrible? I'm gonna just like retreat and we're not gonna talk about that anymore.
I mean, yeah, be hurt.
It's a sticky situation.
It's just so painful to watch.
And Toby's tried to bring this up before though. I mean, that he's dealing with Baby Jack's blindness a lot harder than Kate is. He's tried to bring it up a couple of times and it just kind of gets swept under the rug.
Well,
and
she always walks out of the room. She never allows it to play out.
Probably because she doesn't want to talk about it. But,
well, it would be hard to hear. Having your baby talked about in a negative way by the most important person in your life. Anyways, on a lighter note.
Yeah, and they end their story with, good stuff again. Baby Jack starts noticing light, which is something that the doctors had said, hey, this is a possibility that it could happen. So they celebrate that.
And then you see Toby's he's actually involved for the first time, and you see Kate's reaction to that. And it's definitely like you're only going to love him if he can see, right? And so there's just so much judgment in her eyes. It's not just her, it's him only loving his kid if he can see, and it's just like this 50-50, you guys are idiots kind of thing.
It's so sticky.
Anyways, we said it was going to be lighter now.
Randall, Rebecca, and Miguel in the hospital, and like you said, they had some rough situations between Randall and Miguel, because Miguel is convinced, hey Randall, you don't need to be here, I got this. And Randall drops a great bomb. He's like, hey, we're the type of family that we fly across the country for each other. And it's like,
it's not because I know you're not capable, it's because I wouldn't be here for my mom.
Yeah. It's a situation where Randall and Miguel are both right. Like, Miguel says some, for I guess lack of a better word, like he says some ignorant things. But like he gets there in the episode. He sees, you know, once the diagnosis comes back for Rebecca, and it's like, yeah, you're starting to suffer from some memory loss type issues. Then his eyes are just kind of open to it, and he's like, yeah, it's been a problem. I've just been, you know,
convinced
avoiding
it
it.
was age.
Yeah.
Which I think any of us would do. Like, if that was you, I'd be just like, no, we're not dealing with this yet. Now, that's how most people respond. So I like that this show brings real life into it. It makes it really hard. It's a very, very hard show to watch because of that fact. And I know a lot of people feel that way.
They bring some tough issues to the forefront. Like, I think this is a good storyline. You don't see many storylines on, hey, someone's losing their memory. Like, you see plenty of people fall in love. You see plenty of couples that are dealing with issues, like, you know, they fight, they can't communicate, that kind of thing. I just like that this is a story that isn't talked about too often. Television,
they talk about
movies.
The nitty-gritty of the baggage that family can bring into your life, which everyone I've talked to that absolutely loves this show or hates this show, it's all because of that fact right
it
there.
hinges on that. I love the nitty-gritty. I hate it. So.
Yeah, it's just too real for me. Or, man, it was just so real.
Which is good. I mean, their appointment, you know, went about as well as you could expect. You know, we've seen the future.
Like, it's just like waiting for the reactions and the attitudes and the fights that are going to come with it when you find out that Randall isn't an idiot.
Yeah.
Like we've always known.
I like that. I like some flash forwards. Obviously, it can be like Lost, which gets ripped to shreds for their flash forwards because it stunk. But I kind of like the flash forwards because
they do it so good.
They do it very well. We know the end. It's like, hey, how are we going to get there? That kind of ends that. Randall comes back from his trip, comes home, comes and checks on everyone in the household, make sure they're safe, talks to Beth for a hot second,
and you have to watch the episode yourself to find out what happens. When you watch the episode, comment below your reaction to that. Dun dun dun! I'll just tell you our reaction. We had to watch Fixer Upper afterwards.
We need something a little lighter.
Because we couldn't go to bed yet.
There's
You're welcome.
that.